Before you were born, the universe waited for you to breathe. In silence and dust, it shaped the atoms that would one day become your lungs. From stars and oceans, it crafted the space your breath now fills. And when you finally arrived, your first inhale echoed all the beginnings before you. To breathe is not just to live, it is to participate in the unfolding of the cosmos. Before thought, before language, before even the flutter of your first heartbeat, there was breath. Not yours, not yet, but a breath carried forward by time, passed between the living and the not yet alive, from the very first cell that floated in the ocean's cradle to the lungs now expanding softly inside your chest. Before you were you, before your name was spoken or your story imagined, the universe held its breath, waiting, perhaps, for your first one. You did not need to ask for it. It was waiting the whole time. Air, that gentle, invisible sea that wraps around everything, was already here, prepared, patient. Just as your body, too, was preparing, bone by bone, lung by lung, in the warm, dark silence of the womb. Your first breath was not just the beginning of life as we usually describe it. It was a signal, a soft declaration. I have arrived. It did not sound like words, but it was language in its oldest form. When your lungs filled for the first time, they remembered the shape of air, the way the ribs must lift, the way oxygen rushes into blood like light into dark water. You were not trained to do it. You were born knowing. And that knowing was not new. It was ancient. It lived in your cells. It lived in the code passed down to you, molecule by molecule, from ancestors who had also taken that same breath in different bodies, under different skies. That first inhale is different from all the ones that come after. Not because it's louder or deeper, but because it begins the pattern. Inhale, exhale. Expand, release. Take in, let go. The rhythm of life unfolds not in time, but in breath. The clock begins here, not with the ticking of seconds, but with the swelling of your chest and the pause that follows. Breath is the most constant and yet most overlooked miracle of being alive. You have taken tens of millions since you were born, and most of them, almost all of them, happened without your permission or awareness. But they happened, and they are happening now. Breathe in. Slowly, gently. You are participating in something larger than yourself. The air you just took in, it has been here for billions of years. It has moved through forests and oceans, through the feathers of birds and the mouths of whales, through the lungs of ancient mammals and the stomata of ancient trees. The atoms of oxygen that now travel through your bloodstream may have once been part of a mountain breeze, or oxygen is pulled deep into your tissues, woven into the fire of your cells, used to build and sustain, to fuel thought and warmth and motion. When you breathe, you are inviting the universe into your body, letting it participate in your becoming. You are not a separate thing surviving on an alien Earth. You are the Earth, breathing itself into temporary human form. And your breath, quiet, rhythmic, unnoticed, is the constant reminder of that truth. Even when you sleep, your breath continues. Even when you're lost in thought, anxious, or distracted, it is there. It asks nothing from you but trust. It does not abandon you. Breath does not argue or complain. It simply returns. And in that return, again and again, there is healing. You've been breathing since your first moment, and you will breathe until your last. It is the one thing you do in every state of being, asleep, awake, crying, laughing, praying, dreaming. In each, the breath adapts. It becomes shallow when you're afraid. It deepens when you feel peace. It holds itself when you're startled. It quickens when you're in love. And yet, we rarely notice. We rarely thank the lungs that open and close for us, the diaphragm that moves with elegant purpose, the chest that lifts like a wave and settles again. But tonight, you are noticing, Because here, in the quiet of these words, we slow down enough to feel it. Your body resting, your lungs gentle, your breath soft and alive. You are being breathed. You are not forcing life. You are receiving it. There is an old idea, whispered in poetry and in physics alike, that perhaps the universe is breathing too, expanding and contracting across eons, a cosmic inhale that began with the Big Bang, a slow unfolding exhale of stars and galaxies and silence. And if that is true, then maybe your breath is a small echo of that. Maybe with every inhale, you mirror the motion of space itself. Maybe when you sleep, the universe continues through you, sighing in rhythm with your dreams. Because breath is not just biological, it is spiritual, it is emotional. It holds you in moments of joy and grounds you in moments of fear. It anchors your presence. When everything feels too much, you return to the breath. When you lose yourself, it finds you again. It is a home you carry, weightless, invisible, faithful. And the moment you remember it, everything slows. Breathe in again. Feel the air enter. Notice how the chest lifts without needing instruction. That is life's original intelligence, continuing without fanfare. Feel the stillness at the top of the breath, that brief pause suspended between moments. That is where peace lives. And then the release, the long, slow exhale. Letting go, making space. Trusting that the next inhale will come. And it does. It always does. Until one day, it won't. And that will be okay too. Because every inhale carries a promise, and every exhale a surrender. You don't have to hold anything right now. Just breathe. You don't have to solve or fix or do. Just breathe. The breath is not asking for your perfection, only your presence. And when you give it that, it gives you everything in return. You were born breathing. You live by breath. And one day, when your story ends, you will return your final breath to the world that gave it to you. But tonight, it is still yours. Gentle, quiet, alive. And if breath is your first connection to the world, then what are you made of? What quiet particles built the lungs that breathe? What ancient dust formed the body that holds this rhythm? Let's drift back to where those pieces truly began. Your body is not just flesh. It is a story, whispered by stars. Every cell remembers heat, collision, and time before time. The iron in your blood once lived in a dying sun. You are the memory of explosions, cooled into breath and thought. What feels human is, at its core, utterly cosmic. The breath you just took began long before you were born. Not in a hospital room or the hush of a quiet nursery, but in the unimaginable furnace of a collapsing star. You do not come from dust in the poetic sense. You come from dust in the physical, irrefutable truth of physics. Your body, this soft and fragile miracle, is built from atoms too old to remember their origin and too patient to forget their purpose. The carbon in your bones, the calcium in your teeth, the iron running through your blood, all of it forged in the final heartbeats of dying stars. We call them supernovae, but they are not endings. They are beginnings written backwards. When massive stars run out of fuel, they collapse inward and erupt outward, scattering their deepest elements across space. Gold, silver, phosphorus, magnesium, oxygen, nitrogen. The alphabet of matter flung like seeds across the void. These elements do not disappear. They travel. They wait. They find new homes in clouds of gas and dust that someday swirl themselves into planets and someday into people. And so your story does not start with your name. It does not even start with your species. It begins in a universe before eyes, before memory, before light cooled enough to gather into stars. There, in the formless sea of energy and matter, your atoms waited. Not for you specifically, but for the chance to be arranged. You are one arrangement among infinite possibilities, but the one that woke up, the one that can breathe, the one that can wonder where it all came from. That wonder lives in your blood. It flows beneath your skin like memory. The iron that gives your blood its red color, it was born in the core of a supernova. That's not metaphor. That's science. You carry inside you the remains of stars that lived and died long before Earth ever cooled. The atoms that now shape your fingertips may once have lit up a corner of the galaxy. The oxygen in your lungs may have passed through the body of a whale, or drifted in the high atmosphere of a redwood forest, or floated through the breath of another human, long forgotten but somehow connected to you by air. And yet you don't feel ancient. You feel immediate. You feel here. That is the strange magic of existence, the layering of time in the present moment. You are not just made of stardust. You are made of stardust that remembers how to become skin and muscle and thought. The code written in your DNA is older than you, older than humans, older than anything that's ever had a voice. That code has passed through the mouths of fish, the wings of birds, the bodies of every creature that has ever lived and died and dared to replicate.
So much of you is inherited, but not in the way we usually mean. Inheritance isn't just about grandparents or eye color. It's about starlight folded into molecules. It's about gravity collecting dust into planets and chemistry collecting molecules into life. You are an heir to all of it. To the collisions, to the silence, to the heat and the cold, to the beauty and the chaos. You are not outside the story of the universe. You are the page it is written on. Your body does not remember words, but it remembers fire. It remembers pressure and distance and time. It remembers how to fold proteins and split cells. It remembers how to sleep, how to cry, how to wake. It remembers how to keep going. And that is the most extraordinary memory of all. The one carried not in the mind, but in the structure. You don't need to tell your cells what to do. They already know. They've been doing this in one form or another since before there was land. When you stand beneath the stars and feel small, remember that smallness is illusion. What you see above is not foreign, it is home. Those lights in the sky are not looking down on you. They are looking out from within you. You are not beneath them, you are made of them. The stars are not distant, they are intimate. They are in your heartbeat, in your breath, in your bones. You are a constellation in motion, a galaxy folded into skin, and though your life may feel separate, disconnected, bounded by time and identity, you are a part of a continuum. You are the current expression of an ancient story, a story that doesn't begin or end, but transforms. What was once dust became light, became rock, became life. What is now life will someday return to dust, to fuel, to light again. You are not a disruption in the universe's flow. You are its rhythm. You are its memory, humming softly in the night. Memory, after all, isn't just what the brain recalls. Memory is what the body holds, quietly, faithfully. Memory is the reason you heal. It is the reason your eyes close when the light is too bright. It is the reason you love without needing to understand why. Memory isn't something you access. It's something you are. And so, as you lie still, letting your breath slow and your body settle, know this: you are not just relaxing. You are returning to dust, yes, but dust with memory, dust with purpose, dust that once exploded with light and now rests in your hands. You are a brief collection of particles that have been everywhere, and tonight, for this moment, they are you. Let that be a comfort. Let it be enough. You are not lost. You are not random. You are not separate. You are an echo of stars. You are the universe remembering itself for a while through your breath and your bones and your dreams. But stardust alone is not enough to live. Something else happened. Something subtle and sacred. The dust began to move. It found rhythm. It began to organize. From still dust, life began to stir. Not with noise, but with repetition. A shape appeared, then repeated, then remembered. The pattern of life is not static. It dances, folds, divides. And from those rhythms, your body was slowly born. It began not with a word or a spark, but a movement. Slow, gentle, repeating. The kind of rhythm too quiet to be noticed at first, like a ripple across still water, or a breath drawn in a sleeping forest. Somewhere in the ancient oceans of this young earth, the dust that once floated silent among stars found itself surrounded by warmth and liquid and time. And that was enough. That was the cradle. The elements swirled, collided, settled. Molecules formed, not by accident, but by affinity, by the subtle pull of shape toward shape. Hydrogen reached for oxygen, carbon embraced nitrogen, and slowly, impossibly slowly, a pattern emerged. Not static, but living. You are not made of random matter. You are made of memory wrapped in pattern, and that pattern is what we call life. It is the organizing force, the silent rhythm beneath every cell. Life, at its root, is geometry that knows how to grow. Consider the spiral of a seashell, the branching of trees, the way blood vessels mirror the roots of a forest. These are not just aesthetic details. They are signatures. They are evidence of a pattern deep enough to repeat itself across space and form. Long before your body was built, the instructions already existed, not written in language, but in chemistry. DNA, that quiet double helix coiled in the nucleus of every cell, is not a thing. It is a song, a softly sung melody that hums, build, rebuild, become. It does not speak in sentences. It speaks in sequences, 3 letters here, 4 there, a long sentence of sugar and phosphate winding like a dream through the silence of your cells. This code is old, older than humanity, older than animals, older even than plants. It was there in the first cells, copied and copied and copied again, until copying itself became an art form. And it is still being copied, inside you, right now. Your body, even as you rest, is rewriting the pattern. Cells divide. Proteins fold. Structures form. Not at random, but with direction. This is not chaos. This is choreography. You are not a passive lump of flesh. You are an ongoing construction, a living cathedral being built cell by cell in honor of a code older than the earth itself. The beauty is not in how perfect the pattern is, but in how it adapts. Life is not rigid. It bends. It learns. When the world changes, life does not freeze. It shifts. It reshapes itself in response to pressure, like roots growing around stone, like skin healing after a wound. And through that learning, life remembers. Not in words, but in form. The creature that survived the storm is not the same as the one who entered it. The cell that endured poison is wiser in its next division. The mind that touches love reorganizes itself to keep the echo. You are the result of those tiny adjustments, passed forward through time. You did not appear out of nowhere. You are a long answer to an ancient question. How can matter awaken? And the answer came, not all at once, but in stages. A cell learned to protect itself. Another learned to harvest sunlight. Another to sense heat. Another to divide. And from these innovations, tiny, sacred, tireless, came creatures with eyes, wings, hearts, limbs, and eventually came you. But even now, even with thought and speech and memory, you are not separate from the pattern. You are the pattern, arranged in a way that allows reflection. You are the wave that has become aware it is made of water. Every blink of your eye,
Every beat of your heart is not yours alone. It is the continuation of an ancient rhythm. It is the dust of stars folded into the language of life. Life is fragile, yes, but more than that, it is persistent. The cells in your body do not ask for applause. They do not need recognition. They do their work without fame. The skin heals, the bones knit, the heart knows its rhythm, all because of a pattern that has not forgotten its shape. Sometimes in silence you can feel it, the faint hum beneath your thoughts, the way your breath settles into a rhythm, the warmth in your chest that rises when you feel understood. That is the pattern, speaking not to your ears but to your being, reminding you, you are not broken, you are in motion, and motion here is life. Even pain fits the pattern, even sorrow. These are not deviations but textures, variations in the melody. A song is not less beautiful for having soft notes and loud ones. Life is not less sacred for including death. Everything has its place in the unfolding. You were built not to avoid struggle, but to endure it, to adapt, to integrate, and then to keep going. The miracle of life is not in its complexity, but in its reliability. From the tiniest microbe to the most sentient being, life keeps singing the same melody. Grow, connect, continue. And this melody, it lives in you. You carry it in your breath, in your fingertips, in the slow stretch of your limbs as you fall asleep. There is nothing accidental about you. You are not a mistake, not an afterthought. You are the product of trial and brilliance and time. You are the next verse in an old, old song. And when you wonder if you belong, when you feel lost in the noise of the world, remember, the pattern is still here. It has not abandoned you. You are not separate from it. You are it.
So rest now. Let the cells do their quiet work. Let the breath find its way in and out, without effort. Let the pattern continue, soft and steady, beneath your dreams. You are being carried, not by something outside you, but by something within you. The memory of stars, the rhythm of life, the living pattern that never stops becoming. And if the body remembers how to live, what then does the mind remember? What unfolds when the body rests and the pattern turns inward, into thought, into story, into dream? When the body rests, the mind opens hidden doors. Dreams rise like tides, shapeless, strange, yet deeply familiar. They are not nonsense, but language and metaphor, speaking from below logic, between memory and mystery. The dreaming mind knows truths the waking world forgets. When your body rests, it does not shut down, it softens. Your muscles release their grip on the world. Your breath slows into rhythm, and your senses begin to blur at the edges like fog curling across water. In this soft descent into sleep, something remarkable begins. Your mind, no longer anchored by the demands of daylight, begins to wander. It drifts inward, not outward. It closes its eyes, and in that closing it begins to see, not the world as it is, but the world as it feels. This is the realm of dreams, and it is older than language, older than thought, older even than the human mind itself. You do not create dreams, you receive them, like signals from a deeper self, like echoes from the bottom of a well you've never dared to peer into by day. Dreams are not random. They are not meaningless static from a tired brain. They are messages written in metaphor, stitched from memory, fear, longing, and fragments of feeling. A face you half remember, a hallway that never existed, a sky where gravity forgets its name. The dreaming mind does not follow the rules of waking logic because it does not need to. It speaks in shapes, in symbols, in impossible scenes that somehow feel true, and perhaps they are. In sleep, the brain does not idle. It lights up. Neurons fire in bursts. Electrical storms ripple across your cortex. Your brain is sorting, filing, organizing. It is pruning what is no longer needed and strengthening what is. But more than that, it is rehearsing. It is imagining countless versions of life,
trying out pathways that waking life would never allow. What if you ran? What if you flew? What if you cried in a room that melted into the sea? Dreams do not offer answers. They offer insight, the soft kind, the kind that arrives not in sharp conclusions, but in felt understanding. The dreaming mind has access to...
How did the dream make you feel? What part of you stirred? What longing was touched? Your mind is not a machine. It is a living landscape, and dreams are the weather that moves across it, sometimes stormy, sometimes clear, sometimes strange and beautiful in equal measure. And just as the body heals in rest, so too does the mind through dream. Night after night, you are gently reorganized, the pieces of you reshuffled, soothed, made new. There is something sacred about the vulnerability of dreaming. You surrender control. You release your grip on reality. You trust that something inside you knows the way. And it does. Always it does. Even if the dream confuses you. Even if it wakes you in the night. Even if it slips away before the light returns. The dreaming mind is not here to frighten or confuse you. It is here to guide, to integrate, to remind you that you are more than what you know. And if dreams are strange, remember, so is consciousness, so is life. So is the fact that a mind built from star-forged atoms and ancient patterns can imagine things that never happened and feel them deeply. That is not failure. That is freedom. So tonight, when your eyes close and your breath deepens and the weight of the day begins to melt, know that your mind is preparing its next journey, not away from reality, but deeper into it, into its texture, its symbols, its quiet desires. Trust what arises. Let the images come. Let the strange stories unfold. You do not need to understand them. You only need to feel them, because the dreaming mind is not separate from you. It is you, unguarded. It is your soul, wandering. It is your heart, whispering. And in that dream space, beneath thought, beneath control, beneath the sunlit mind, something ancient is waiting to be remembered. And where do dreams live, if not in the patterns of the sleeping brain? Let us travel deeper now into the architecture of rest, into the soft machinery that cradles it all. Sleep is not stillness, but sacred construction. Within its cycles, the brain builds and restores. Each stage has a purpose, each pattern a role, from drifting drowsiness to deep repair to dreaming flight. Sleep is the cathedral where your mind quietly repairs its stained glass. You might think of sleep as a pause, a soft silence between the waking hours, but it is anything but empty. Sleep is not the absence of activity. It is the hidden workshop of the body and mind, the quiet cathedral where your deepest restoration occurs. And just as a cathedral rises stone by stone, arch by arch, your sleep unfolds in layers, complex, rhythmic, sacred in their design. Scientists call this structure sleep architecture, and it is, in every way, a kind of architecture. Not built from stone, but from waves of brain activity. Not held together by mortar, but by cycles. 4 or 5, sometimes 6 per night, and each cycle is a full descent and ascent through stages of repair. It begins gently. The moment your eyes close, the world begins to slip away. The sounds around you soften, muscles loosen,
Your breath deepens. You're not yet asleep, but not fully awake either. This is stage 1, the lightest sleep. Here, the brain slows its pace. Alpha waves fade into theta, like footsteps echoing down a long hallway. You may feel like you're falling. You may twitch. Your thoughts begin to untangle into fragments, and you begin to float. Then comes stage 2, where sleep deepens and the outer world fades. The body drops further into calm. Heart rate slows. Temperature dips. This stage isn't dreaming, it's buffering. It is the still lake between wakefulness and depth. The brain begins sending little bursts of activity called sleep spindles, flashes of electricity that help protect your sleep from disturbance. They are like sentinels, guarding your inner world from the knock of noise. And during this time, memories begin to find their place. Your mind starts sorting the experiences of the day, gently tucking away what matters and discarding what does not. And then, the descent. Stage 3, known as deep sleep or slow wave sleep. Here, the body repairs itself. Growth hormone is released, cells regenerate, your immune system strengthens, and your brain enters a near-silent state, pulsing with slow delta waves, long, sweeping rhythms that carry you far from waking thought. In this depth, you are at your most peaceful, and yet, you are not gone. You are healing. This stage is what makes sleep feel truly restorative. Without it, you wake foggy, scattered, less whole. But with it, your body rebuilds from the inside out. And then, like a tide reversing, your brain begins to rise. It returns to lighter sleep, and suddenly, without warning, the pattern changes. The brain ignites, blood flows to the cortex, heart rate rises. The body is paralyzed, but the mind is alive. This is REM sleep, rapid eye movement. This is where dreams return in full color. Vivid, emotional, often strange. The dreaming mind is awakened, and the stage is set for its stories. REM sleep is essential for learning, for creativity, for emotional processing. Here, the brain does not merely recall. It reorganizes. It makes meaning. It writes poetry out of memory. And this theater of the mind is not chaos. It is construction. It is the soul's rehearsal. These 4 stages, light, deeper, deepest, and REM, are not traveled once. They are visited again and again, in cycles about 90 minutes long. Like spirals in water, each cycle dips down and rises up, carrying you through layers of healing. In early night, deep sleep dominates. The body is the priority, repairing muscle, reinforcing bones, storing energy. But as night progresses, REM becomes the focus. The mind takes the stage. Emotions are filtered, memories rewritten. What you felt but could not process in daylight is quietly sorted here. Grief is softened. Joy is folded inward. Confusion is reshaped into clarity, if not in logic, then in feeling. And this balance of mind and body, of stillness and motion, is delicate. Sleep is a rhythm, and rhythms require protection. Light disrupts it, noise fragments it, stress dulls its edges. That is why rest is not the same as sleep. You can lie down and never truly enter the cathedral. True sleep invites you inward, past the gates of tension, into the soft sanctuary where you can be made new. Even now, as you drift, your body is preparing its descent. Neurons align. The pineal gland begins to release melatonin, the chemical that softens the gates between wakefulness and sleep. Blood flows away from the outer world and turns inward. Muscles fall into gravity's cradle. Your eyelids grow heavy. Your breath begins to match the rhythm of night itself. And here's the beautiful truth. You don't have to try. You were built for this. Sleep is not a task, it is a surrender, a return to the ancient rhythm that shaped your ancestors long before alarm clocks and deadlines and blue-lit screens. Every creature sleeps. Fish float, birds nest, wolves curl into the snow. And you too are an animal, needing not permission, but space to return to that origin. In deep sleep, you are closest to what you once were. A child of silence, a vessel of restoration. In REM, you become what you are becoming, a dreamer, a thinker, a weaver of meaning. Both are sacred, both are necessary, and both live inside the architecture of sleep, quietly unfolding each night, whether you know it or not.
Sleep does not erase. It transforms. The worries you carry in daylight become smaller in dreams. The aches in your body are softened. The sharp corners of thought are smoothed. And when you wake, truly wake, after sleep has done its work, you feel not just rested, but restored. Like a building repaired from within. Like a forest regrown overnight, like a song remembered in silence. So let go. You are safe here. The brain knows the pattern, the body knows the way. You do not need to build sleep. It is already built within you. Layer upon layer, cycle upon cycle, a spiral of becoming, each night a return to the source, each dream a window into self. And all of this, the breath, the sleep, the dreams, unfold not in chaos, but in rhythm. There is a pulse beneath the universe, a ticking so ancient and wide, it guides even your sleep. It is time, but not as we know it. Let's go there now. Time is not a line, it is a heartbeat. It flows within you, around you, beyond you. Moments pass like waves, yet some echo forever. Time weaves breath into memory, and memory into meaning. You are not trapped in time. You are made of its rhythm. Time does not tick. Not really. Not in the quiet of the body or the silence between stars. The ticking is ours, invented, placed upon the stillness to measure what we do not fully understand. We mark it with clocks, calendars, aging skin, but time itself is not so rigid. It does not move forward in steps. It pulses, it sways, it breathes with you. Inhale, a second is born. Exhale, and it fades again. The truth is, time is rhythm, and rhythm is what life is made of. Consider your heartbeat. It does not race in straight lines. It pulses, rests, pulses again. So too does your breath, your blood, your brain waves as you sleep. Inside of you, time keeps a tempo. One older than any watch, older than any sun. It is the rhythm set when the universe began, when time and space burst forth together in the quietest explosion. That was not just a beginning. It was a beat, a first drum of becoming, and every second since has been an echo. We often speak of time as something we move through, a river that carries us from the past into the future. But what if we are not in time? What if we are time? What if your body is a clock, not ticking by seconds, but by sensation, by memory, by change? What if your skin knows time through the stretch of seasons? What if your heart counts time in sighs and kisses and losses? What if your cells, dividing in silence, are singing the song of the universe's slow unfolding? The earth spins. You spin with it. Around the sun, around the core of the galaxy, around the space that continues to stretch.
Every rotation, every orbit, every gravitational pull is a measure of time. But none of them are clocks. Not really. They are movements, patterns, dances that give rhythm to life. You eat in rhythm, you sleep in rhythm. Your thoughts loop and return. You are a spiral, not a straight path. You are time, remembering itself. And still, we try to control it. We bind time to numbers. We divide it into minutes, hours, deadlines. We race against it, curse it, chase it. But time does not run from you. It moves with you, like a river you are swimming in, sometimes against the current, sometimes with it, but never separate from the water. You are not late. You are here. You are exactly where time has placed you. Memory gives the illusion of direction. You remember the past. You imagine the future. But in truth, you live in neither. You live only in this breath, this single inhale, this one quiet heartbeat. That is the only time that exists. Now, and now, and now. The future is not a place you go to. It is something you create with each breath. The past is not lost. It is folded into your cells, into your story, into the choices that brought you here. Think of time not as a road, but as music. Each moment a note, some held longer, some short and sharp. Some returned to again and again, like dreams you revisit or feelings you cannot shake. Not all notes are equal. Some moments stretch, like the long pause before saying goodbye. Some fly past unnoticed, like wind. But together they form your song, and no one else has your melody. Even the brain feels time differently depending on emotion. A moment of fear lasts longer. A joyful hour disappears. Time bends inside the mind. It is not consistent. It dances with how you feel. When you're present, it slows. When you're distracted, it races. And when you love, time sometimes stops altogether. Or it seems to. A glance holds more than a year. A silence contains a lifetime. The stars feel time differently too. Light from a galaxy may take millions of years to reach us. When you look up at night, you are not seeing the stars as they are. You are seeing them as they were. You are looking back in time. And the same is true of your own thoughts. Memory is time travel of a kind. When you remember something clearly, a scent, a touch, a moment, your body lives it again. Your brain reactivates the same pathways. Time folds, and the past breathes again. In your DNA, time is even older. It holds the patterns of your ancestors, shaped across eons, tested by time's slow winds. Your eyes, your hands, your voice, they carry echoes of people you never knew, of places long buried. You are not just living time. You are inherited time, a continuation, a bridge. And what of the future? We often think of it with anxiety, the unknown, the unfinished, the ticking we can't stop. But perhaps the future is not something to fear. Perhaps it is something you meet moment by moment, like a soft tide reaching the shore. You don't need to know it. You only need to greet it gently with breath. The universe itself carries time in its fabric. Space expands, galaxies drift. But at the smallest level, in quantum fields, time may not even exist in the way we think. Some physicists believe that time is not fundamental, that it is emergent, born from the way we observe, the way we remember, the way we count change. If that's true, then time isn't something out there. It is something we make, together, with the universe, with our hearts and eyes and breath. And so tonight, as you lie still and let sleep carry you into its layered sanctuary, remember, time is not a prison. It is a pulse, and you are not falling behind. You are unfolding at exactly the speed required. Each breath, a soft clock. Each dream, a timeless drift. Each cell, a sacred metronome in the quiet orchestra of being. Let time be soft tonight. Let it move not with pressure, but with peace. Let the seconds stretch like fabric, holding you. Let the hours become waves, rocking you. Let the ticking fade, replaced by the rhythm that has no sound, only presence. You are not running out of time. You are becoming time. Every heartbeat, every step, every touch, a mark on the unfolding tapestry of the universe. Time does not carry you away. It builds you, breath by breath, into the shape of this very moment. And if time moves through you, what else does the cosmos whisper into your form? Perhaps, as you sleep and dream and breathe, you are holding more than just your own story. Perhaps the entire universe is curled gently inside you. You are not in the universe. You are made of it. The stars did not vanish after creating you. They continue inside. Atoms in your bones were born in the furnace of ancient suns. The cosmos hums within your heartbeat, curled in your cells. Even as you sleep, the universe remembers itself through you.
Close your eyes.
Let your breath fall gently. In this stillness, where the world dissolves and the body softens, imagine something beautiful. You are not a separate creature, watching the universe from afar. You are not an outsider looking up at the stars through glass. You are the stars. You are their continuation, wrapped in breath and thought and quiet skin. The universe does not live around you. It lives inside you, sleeps inside you, dreams through you. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen that fills your lungs, none of it began here. These elements were forged in the hearts of stars billions of years ago, in the violent, radiant deaths of supernovae. When a massive star dies, it does not vanish, it bursts. It scatters its body across the cosmos, gifting carbon, nitrogen, and iron to the galaxies. And from that stellar ash, new worlds form, new suns, new planets, and eventually, new life. You are made of that dust, not metaphorically, literally. Every atom in your body is ancient, older than Earth, older than the sun. You are a symphony of stardust, held together by the miracle of gravity and time. Your heart beats not alone, but in rhythm with forces that shaped galaxies. And when you lie still at night, when your body drifts into sleep, the universe does not leave you. It nestles deeper. It folds its story into your dreams. Think of your breath, the simple act of inhale and exhale. You are breathing the same molecules once breathed by trees, by birds, by people who lived thousands of years ago. Air flows from life to life, never owned, only shared. And in this endless exchange, you are connected. The breath in your lungs may have been part of a glacier, a thunderstorm, a poet's last sigh, and now it is you. This is not philosophy. This is physics. This is real. The cells in your body speak in chemistry, not in words, and their language is ancient. The way your cells divide, the way they build and repair, is a process honed by billions of years of evolution. These instructions, encoded in your DNA, are a history book, not written in ink, but in sequence, a record of life's long, patient journey from simplicity to complexity, from single-celled organisms in the ocean to a being capable of love, grief, art, and wonder. You are that history, alive, breathing, dreaming. Somehow, this dust has learned to think, to wonder, to fall in love. That is the quiet miracle science cannot fully explain, how matter becomes mind. How the cold laws of physics lead to the warmth of feeling. But perhaps it was always destined. Perhaps the universe did not just want to be. Perhaps it longed to know itself. And so it made you. Your thoughts, even the softest, most fleeting, are ripples in the great field of being. When you feel joy, the universe feels it through you. When you grieve, it listens. When you dream, it sees itself in new colors. You are not small. You are not lost. You are the way the universe has chosen in this moment to exist in human form, a breathing galaxy of cells, a walking constellation of thought. And it goes deeper. The atoms in your body are not static. They are always moving, always changing, always being exchanged with the world around you. The skin you have today is not the skin you had a month ago. Your bones renew. Your blood flows and replaces itself. You are not a fixed thing. You are a process, a stream. And that stream is full of starlight and memory and future possibility. In deep sleep, as your mind drifts into dreams and your body forgets its shape, the universe does not forget you. It remembers more clearly. You become quiet enough to listen, to feel the pull of ancient rhythms, the expansion of space, the ticking of time not by clocks, but by motion, gravity, entropy. And somehow, all that vastness fits inside you, not just symbolically, but physically. Your neurons hold electrical storms. Your heart pulses like a solar flare. Your eyes carry the memory of light. When you wake and look into the mirror, it is easy to forget, easy to see just skin and hair, imperfections and names. But beneath all that is a miracle of structure, a brain more complex than galaxies, a body shaped by eons of trial and beauty, a self that exists nowhere else in the universe. You are unrepeatable, and yet you are also everyone, because everyone carries the same cosmic origin. We are all dust, reassembled in different ways. We are all variations of a single unfolding. So rest now, and let this truth hold you. The universe is not something distant or unreachable. It is not only for physicists or philosophers or telescopes. It is yours. It is here. It is within. Your body is not separate from the stars. It is one of them. Your life is not separate from the cosmos. It is a continuation. The stars do not look down on you. They burn for you, through you, in you. You are the space between atoms. You are the silence between waves. You are the result of a billion impossible things going right. You do not need to do anything to earn this wonder. You only need to breathe, to close your eyes, to feel the warmth in your chest. That is enough. That is everything. The universe sleeps inside you, and in your sleep it dreams of what it might become next. And if the universe lives within you, what stories does your body carry? Not just from the stars, but from every moment of living. What memories linger in your muscles, waiting to be heard in silence? Your body is more than a vessel. It is a memory keeper. Each breath is a story. Each heartbeat, a signature of where you've been. Muscle holds grief. Skin remembers touch. The nervous system stores fear and safety. You may forget, but the body never does. Even in sleep, it carries your unspoken history gently inside. You may think of memory as something that lives only in your mind, a flicker behind the eyes, a story told in language. But long before memory had words, it had rhythm, it had breath, it had touch. And even now, your deepest memories are not kept in thought. They are woven into your bones, your muscles, your skin, your breath. The body does not forget. It carries everything, softly, silently, in tissue and tone. Your shoulders, for instance, may rise ever so slightly when you feel unsure. You may not notice it. You may think you are calm, but your body remembers. Perhaps long ago, in a moment of fear, your body learned that shrinking made you safer. And now, long after the danger has passed, the pattern remains. Not because your body is broken, but because it was listening, because it was protecting you. Your chest may tighten when certain names are spoken. Your hands may tremble at the smell of something forgotten. The mind forgets easily. It is built to move on. But the body is slower. The body is wiser in different ways. It waits. It carries what the mind cannot hold. It whispers, gently, through sensation. Something happened here. This matters. Be gentle. Even joy is stored. Think of laughter. Think of how it lives not in words, but in your lungs, in the curve of your mouth, in the soft crumpling of your eyes. Joy has a shape, a posture, a weightlessness in the belly. And when joy returns, even without a reason, the body recognizes it. The body says, "I've been here before." And when grief arrives, it is not just tears. It is the hollowness in the chest, the ache in the back, the sleep that no longer restores. This is not just metaphor. It is biology. Your nervous system records every experience, not as facts, but as patterns of response. The sympathetic system prepares you to flee or fight. The parasympathetic soothes, slows, softens. And these systems learn. They adapt. They begin to respond before thought even arises. You feel tense, and only later realize why. You flinch at a sound, and your heart races long before your mind explains it. This is the body's memory. And it is not a flaw. It is not a failure to move on. It is the brilliance of being alive. Your body does not ask for explanation. It asks for care. It asks for noticing. When you lie down to sleep and your jaw is clenched, your stomach tight, that is not weakness. That is communication. That is your body saying, "I remember. I am holding something still. Can we let it go tonight?" There are places where memory lives deeply. The hips, the jaw, the throat, the belly. These are soft places, vulnerable places, and so they guard. They absorb what is too overwhelming to feel fully. They wait, not in pain, but in pause. Waiting for safety, waiting for stillness, waiting for you to come home to them. Touch is memory too. The warmth of a hand, the comfort of being held. Long after someone is gone, your body remembers how they felt. The shape of safety, the rhythm of being loved. Sometimes when no one touches you, your skin still tingles from old warmth. Your back curls inward. Your fingers fold. This is not sadness. This is memory. This is the echo of connection. And in sleep, the body keeps remembering. The positions you curl into, the dreams you return to, they are all part of the great integration. Your body does not sleep to escape the day. It sleeps to process it. Your muscles relax, and in doing so, they release stories. They let go. Not in language, but in release. A tension dissolves. A breath lengthens. A heartbeat slows.
This is healing, not from forgetting, but from remembering safely. Some memories are too deep for words. The body holds them until you're ready. And often, that readiness comes not through thought, but through softness, through stillness, through sleep. You may dream of something you do not understand, a place you've never seen, a feeling without name, and still you wake with a lightness. Not because you solved anything, but because your body let something go. Movement can also unlock memory. A stretch, a yawn, a walk through quiet woods. These are not small things. These are rituals of return. Even the way you breathe tells a story. Shallow breath may have once kept you hidden. Held breath may have meant survival. Now, it may no longer be needed, but the pattern remains. Until one day, in sleep or stillness, you exhale deeply. Not just air, but history. A letting go of what no longer serves. The body always knew the moment would come. And through it all, your body remains loyal, steady, yours. It carries pain and pleasure alike. It holds the weight of love and loss. It stretches to shelter you. It tightens to warn you. It sings when you let it. The more gently you listen, the more clearly it speaks. The more you soften, the more it releases. The body is not your enemy. It is your home. Tonight, as you drift into sleep, know that your body is not just resting. It is remembering. Not to hurt you, but to heal you. It is cycling through its sacred archive. It is sorting, releasing, integrating. You do not need to direct it. You only need to trust it. Place your hand on your heart. Feel the rhythm. That is time. That is memory. That is presence. The body is not behind you. It is not something to get over. It is here, now, breathing with you, dreaming with you, healing, slowly, wisely, with every night that you allow it to. And as your body heals in stillness, your breath becomes a bridge between your inner world and the outer cosmos. Let us float now, weightless, into the space between stars. Breath is not just survival. It is your first connection to the cosmos. Each inhale is a whisper of creation. Each exhale, a release into the infinite. Breath carries stories of stars, of forests, of forgotten time. You are not just breathing air. You are breathing everything. There is a quiet place between each breath, and in it, the universe waits. Your breath is older than you, older than your name, older than your thoughts. It began before memory and continues even when awareness drifts away. You do not have to think about breathing. It simply happens, like the tide, like nightfall, like stars appearing one by one in a soft sky. And that is what breath truly is, a tide, a rhythm, a bridge between the body and everything beyond it. Inhale, and you draw in molecules that have moved through oceans and forests and lungs of creatures long gone. Exhale, and you return them, reshaped to the world. Air is not owned, it is shared. It circulates between bodies, between centuries, between worlds. In this way, you are constantly connected, not symbolically, but physically. The air you breathe tonight may have once moved through the feathers of a migrating bird, or passed through the roots of a tree hundreds of years old. The oxygen that fills your lungs was created in stars. In their final, fiery moments, massive stars fused lighter elements into heavier ones, including the oxygen that now sustains your cells. When those stars died, they scattered that oxygen across the universe, and some of it found its way into the dust cloud that birthed our sun, our earth, our atmosphere, and now into you. Each breath is a gift from something vast and ancient. You are, quite literally, breathing stardust. But breath is more than chemistry. It is the first thing you did when you entered this world, the first sign that you had arrived. And it will be the last thing you do when you leave. Between those two moments lies your entire life, carried on a gentle rhythm. It is so constant that we often forget it's there. But when you bring attention to it, when you slow it down, it becomes something else. a doorway. Each breath invites you home. Inhale, and feel your chest rise. Space is created inside you. Exhale, and feel the soft fall, a letting go, a surrender. This pattern mirrors all of life, taking in, releasing, becoming, dissolving. You do it over and over, night after night, even while you sleep. Breath is the lullaby the universe sings inside your ribs. And between each breath there is a pause, a moment of stillness, a silence that is not empty, but full. In this space, time softens, the mind quiets, the body listens. It is in this gap, this breathless place, where you can feel it most, the connection to something beyond thought, beyond need. A place where you are not doing, you are simply being. The ancient yogis knew this. They believed that breath, prana, was not just air, but life force, that the breath carried energy, consciousness, and presence, and that by following the breath, you could follow yourself back to the source of being. The Buddhists, too, sit with the breath, not to control it, but to witness it, to anchor awareness, to remember the present moment as it unfolds in the body. Modern science agrees. Slow, conscious breathing calms the nervous system, reduces stress, slows the heart rate. It soothes the fight or flight response and invites the rest and restore state. It tells the body, you are safe now, you can let go. And when you sleep, the breath takes over, continuing this song of calm, this quiet turning. But perhaps most mysterious of all is this. Breath is movement in stillness. You may lie completely still, eyes closed, limbs at rest, and yet something inside continues to move, to flow, to pulse. This is breath. It does not stop for dreams. It does not stop for fear. It does not stop for sorrow. It is always there, rising, falling, rising again. A wave that never ends. And so tonight, as your body sinks deeper into the bed, as your muscles melt and your mind begins to drift, return to the breath. Not as a task, but as an anchor. Feel the inhale enter like morning light through a quiet window. Feel the exhale leave like a leaf floating downstream. Do not force. Do not change. Only observe. Only listen. Your breath has always known what to do. With every breath, you dissolve the illusion of separation. You are not a sealed vessel. You are porous. You are in constant exchange with the world around you. Trees exhale what you inhale. You exhale what they need. There is no hierarchy here, only relationship, only dance. You are part of a great circle. The stars gave you oxygen. The earth gave you lungs. Breath connects the two. Even the universe itself, expanding, stretching, breathes in its own way. Cosmic inflation, contraction, rebirth. Astronomers once wondered, will the universe expand forever or fall back into itself in a great inhale? Now we believe the expansion continues endlessly. A long, slow exhale into mystery. And you, lying here, breathing softly, are part of that exhale. There are moments in life, often when we are most alive, when we catch our breath, when time pauses, when we feel the presence of something so vast, so beautiful, we can only breathe in silence. These are not coincidences. They are reminders. That breath is sacred, that life is brief and beautiful, that you are not alone. And so, as you drift into sleep, let your breath carry you. Let it be the tide that takes you deeper, into rest, into dreams, into the quiet space between thoughts, between stars where everything waits. You don't need to understand breath. You only need to trust it. It has always known the way. Tonight, let every breath remind you, you are connected.
You are part of the forest, the ocean, the stars. You are not just surviving. You are singing, softly, with the rhythm of all life. Let that rhythm lull you. Let it hold you. Let it become your lullaby. And in this breath between thoughts, between stars, between lifetimes, a gentle truth begins to rise. That night is not a void, but a canvas of quiet wonder waiting to be seen. Night is not absence. It is presence hidden in shadow. The darkness above you is filled with light from long ago. Every star is a memory still arriving, still singing. The silence you feel is not void. It is depth. The night holds more than dreams. It holds the shape of the universe itself.
There is a moment just before sleep when everything becomes still. The sounds of the day fade into hush. The body softens, the breath slows, and the mind floats in a quiet sea. In that moment you may sense it, the weight of the night pressing gently against the windows, the ceiling, the skin. And if you listen closely, you'll feel what so many miss. The night is not empty, it is full. It is tempting to call the night a void, to see its darkness as absence, as nothingness. But the truth is far more mysterious. The night is not a lack of light, it is the background against which light becomes visible. Without darkness, we would never see the stars. And without stillness, we would never hear the universe whisper. Look up, even with eyes closed. Picture the sky above you. To the naked eye, it may seem scattered with tiny points of light, randomly placed. But there is structure. There is shape. There are stories. The stars you see are not all alike. Some are giants burning cold and blue. Others are smaller, warmer red. Some are only beginning to shine. Others have long since died, their light still traveling, still arriving. That light you see, it is old. Light moves fast, yes, faster than anything else we know. But the universe is vast beyond imagining. Even the nearest star beyond our sun is over 4 light years away. That means the light from that star began its journey 4 years ago. It has been flying uninterrupted through space all that time, just to meet your gaze. Some of the stars you see tonight began shining 1,000 years ago. Some left their homes millions of years ago. Some may no longer even exist. Their light is the only trace of their having been. That is the beauty of the night. It is a gallery of ghosts, of light still reaching us, long after its source is gone. In this way, the night is not a void. It is a museum of ancient presence. And between the stars, that deep velvet darkness is not truly empty either. Space itself hums with energy. Invisible particles pass through your body each second, born in the hearts of galaxies. Gravitational waves stretch and fold space-time ever so gently, like ripples in a vast cosmic pond. The universe is always moving, always singing, even in the silence, especially in the silence. You, lying here, are part of it. Your bones remember starlight. Your breath carries the rhythm of spinning galaxies. Even now, as your thoughts begin to drift into dreams, your atoms remain connected to all things, near and far. You are not under the stars. You are among them. And yet, the night is not only science. It is feeling. It is story. For thousands of years, humans have looked to the night sky, not for emptiness, but for guidance, for hope, for myth. We named the stars, told tales of gods and beasts and heroes across constellations. The night was our first book, our first map, our first clock. Even in darkness, we searched and we found meaning. There is something deeply human about lying beneath stars. It humbles and expands you at the same time. You realize how small you are, a single heartbeat among trillions, and yet how rare, how miraculous, how known. The universe made you, yes,
but it also sees you, not in the way a person does, but in the way gravity sees mass, in the way a planet pulls a moon close. You are felt, and in return, you feel it too. That quiet longing you carry, that ache for wonder, it is the echo of the cosmos inside you. It is the night sky woven into your blood. You do not look to the stars because they are bright. You look because something in you remembers them, recognizes them, feels at home in their silence. Night invites you to return, not to noise or urgency, but to stillness, to the original rhythm, the rhythm before clocks, before deadlines, before thought itself, the rhythm of darkness wrapping gently around light, of silence cradling sound, of space making room for stars to be seen. The night reminds you that slowness is not loss, it is clarity. And so as you lie still, wrapped in the hush of your room, the hush of your breath, the hush of the world falling into rest, remember, you are not falling into darkness. You are rising into vastness, into ancient company, into the soft arms of a sky that has watched over life since before life began. The night does not demand anything of you. It does not need you to understand it or name every star. It only asks that you be still enough to feel it, to let the darkness in, not as fear, but as presence, as invitation. There is a kind of knowing that only happens in the dark, a kind of peace that only blooms in shadow. Even your dreams tonight will be shaped by the night's embrace. They rise from the same depth, from the same quiet space where stars are born. And perhaps in those dreams, you will remember something forgotten, a feeling, a place, a light inside you that flickers softly, still burning, still waiting. Night is not the end of the day. It is a world unto itself. It is the part of the universe that holds space for healing, for mystery, for sleep. You do not fall asleep alone. You fall into a sky full of distant suns, full of light still arriving, full of present. So let go. Not into emptiness, but into fullness. Into the great sky that cradles all things. Into the breath between stars. Into the story of light written across a velvet page. The night does not forget you. It holds you quietly until the sun returns, and as the night breathes around you, holding every dream, every star, every sigh, a thought begins to bloom, gentle and slow. What if you are not just a witness to the cosmos, but its voice? You are not just made of stars, you are the universe becoming aware of itself. Each thought, each feeling is a sentence in a cosmic poem. You carry the story of time in your cells and the future in your breath. The universe needed a voice, and it chose to speak through you. You are not small. You are the unfolding of everything. In the beginning there was only silence, not absence, but a waiting. Then came light, heat, expansion. The cosmos bloomed outward like a great breath held for too long. Hydrogen danced with gravity. Time unfolded its wings. Galaxies began to spin. Stars ignited and died over and over, writing the first verses of an endless poem. And now, here you are. You, lying in quiet stillness. You, wrapped in breath and thought. You, with your tender heart and infinite questions. You are not an accident. You are the continuation. You are the moment the universe stopped whispering and began to speak aloud. Every cell in your body carries the ink of stars. Every heartbeat is a punctuation in a story that began long before memory. We spend so much time wondering what the universe means, when all along it has been answering. Not in equations or languages, but in you, in the way you laugh, in the way you grieve, in the quiet way you wonder about your place in it all. That wondering is not separate from the universe. It is the universe, folding inward to listen to itself. And what a beautiful thing that is. You are not watching life from the outside. You are life. You are consciousness, made from carbon and water and longing. You are the dust of exploded stars learning to dream, to love, to cry at music. The universe has created oceans and mountains and moons, but it made only one of you. That is not chance. That is expression. You are its most delicate echo. There is a soft power in knowing this, not the kind that conquers. You do not need to be extraordinary in the eyes of the world. You already are, simply by being. The molecules in your hands once belonged to other worlds. The thoughts in your mind are older than history. You are not here to achieve. You are here to be. And in being, you complete something vast. Even your doubts, your fears, your smallness, they matter. They are the shadows that give the stars contrast, the questions that keep the story alive. The universe has always moved in spirals, galaxies, whirlpools, the twisting ladder of DNA. You too grow in circles. You come back to the same thoughts, the same aches, again and again. Only each time, deeper, wider, more whole. Sleep is part of that spiral. As you drift now, breath slowing, muscles softening, your body is not stopping, it is weaving. Rest is not escape from the world. It is reunion with it. In dreams, you return to the center. You let go of names, roles, plans. You remember what you are, not a label, but a pattern. Not a person, but a process. The stardust unfolding in 1,000 directions. And what you dream, the universe feels. What you love, the universe expands. What you hope, the future leans toward. This is not fantasy. This is physics wrapped in metaphor, truth wrapped in beauty. You are not outside the laws of nature. You are their most poetic form. A story that writes itself and somehow knows it's being written. You don't need to understand every detail. The atoms don't know the whole body. The stars don't see the shape of the galaxy they shine in. But they trust their part. They shine anyway. And you can too. You can rest in the knowledge that you belong. Not because of anything you've done, but because you are here. That is enough. That is everything. And when you wake, you will carry this with you. Even if you don't remember, your breath will remember. Your skin will remember. The rhythm of your thoughts will shift gently, subtly, like the tide remembering the pull of the moon. You will step into the day not as a separate being, but as a continuation of the stars. And if, in the light of day, you forget, that's all right. The universe is patient. It will remind you again, in the hush between two songs, in the softness of a shadow, in the way your breath catches at the sight of something beautiful. It will wait for you in the quiet. in the stars, in sleep.
Because it never stopped speaking. And now, as you drift toward dreams, let this be your lullaby. You are not small. You are not lost. You are the story the universe tells itself. One breath, one heartbeat, one night at a time. Sleep now, stardust. Let the story continue in silence. Let the universe speak through your dreams. You are home.